and Epstein. And Andrew, I shared one of them there, but, so let's start with the one at Trump's wedding. I mean, this is a significant development.
Well, yeah, it is. Trump's wedding to Marla Maples in 1993 was dubbed the wedding of the century by the media at the time. And although we know that Trump and Epstein were friends during this period, this is really the first time that it's actually been reported that Trump invited Epstein to his wedding. This is, we should note, more than a decade before those first allegations of sex trafficking against Epstein. But as you know, Trump's relationship with Epstein has been under the microscope recently. Now, besides that one photo of Epstein entering the reception at the Plaza Hotel, we can also see him in the background of another picture. That's Howard Stern on the far right, along with Robin Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, and Epstein is behind them at the wedding, almost seeming to be photobombing them.
And he was doing bunny rabbits. Isn't that just silly and goofy? CNN there reporting, the latest mainstream outlet, to say, my turn. We're going to go find some stuff. And I guess this is the first time it's being reported that Epstein, someone named Jeffrey Epstein, was at Trump's wedding and then a fashion show, etc. But let me get to the part where Kaczynski, is that his name? That sounds like the wrong name. But the K-File guy talks about his phone call with Trump after this.
You actually called President Trump. You called him directly to ask him about this.
Yeah, we were not on the phone very long. I think our call was about 30 seconds or so. But when I asked him about the wedding photo, he said, he sort of paused for a second and then said, "You've got to be kidding me," before calling CNN fake news and then hanging up on me. Now, in a statement to CNN, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung said this. He said, "These are nothing more than out of context frame grabs of innocuous videos and pictures of widely attended events to disgustingly infer something nefarious. The fact is that the president kicked him out of his club for being a, quote, creep."
I still haven't seen the evidence of that, and if he knew it, then weird that he didn't blow the whistle on it and say, "Hey, world, Epstein's a creep," but he just privately kicked him out. So what is this? Well, apparently there's this guy named Jeffrey Epstein, and he died. And he's one of those people that people weren't really sad when he died, I guess is how you'd say it. And then our president right now, he's named Donald Trump. And I learned this morning, I got up and I said, "What's going on?" And Jaden said, "Hey, there's this story about a guy named Jeff, they called him J-Bob Epstein, and how he was tight buddies with the president right now." And I said, "Donald Trump's the president? The Apprentice guy? Wait, that guy?" And I said, I thought that George W. Bush was president. Is Trump more? No way, Trump's more goofy than George W. Bush.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you." If fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Yeah, I said, I thought George W. Bush was... And I said, how long ago was 9/11? And Jaden couldn't think of the math, but he said a long time ago. And I said, okay, so George Bush is not president anymore. Trump is president. Trump from The Apprentice. Who was... so did Trump become president after George W. Bush? I thought a Democrat would win, given how disastrous that presidency was looking. And Jane said, no, actually, a lot has happened since then. This guy, Barack Obama, became president. I said, Barack Obama? I've never heard of Barack Obama. And he said, yeah, he was our first black president. I said, well, good for America. We had a black president. Shoot, that's kind of cool. And Jaden said, yeah, no, we made a lot of progress. And I was like, well, that's awesome. So Trump must be kind of a new age Republican. And and woke. I didn't use that word because that wasn't around. I said we must be in such a more politically correct environment. If a black man became president, we probably made so much progress. No. And Trump and Jaden said, no, we didn't. We kind of backslid a little bit. And I said, oh gosh. So I did ask, has a gay person been president yet? And Jaden said, he said, quote unquote, was his reaction. I said, okay, well, all right. So we're backsliding. He said, yeah. I said, so Trump's president, yeah. And this Epstein guy, I feel like last I heard of him, he was some sort of financier. Some financier with, that's kind of all I knew. And I said, wow, so you're telling me that Trump was really good friends with this Jeffrey, and why is it so notable that they were such good friends? And Jaden said, well, Jeffrey Epstein was busted for a underage trafficking ring. I was like, oh my gosh. And Trump was good buddies? And Jaden said, yeah. So apparently that's what's happening. It's a lot to learn this morning. Aside from having amnesia, I did wake up violently ill, which is a little bit annoying. I'm going to do the best that I can, but yesterday, the reason we didn't have a second show of the day was because I was just like eepy. I was very sleepy. And I'm now realizing it's because an illness was coming on, and that's just aggravating. So here is this Jeffrey person and our president, apparently, who's not gay, according to what Jane told me, and they're talking at a wedding like a couple of buddies, or somewhere like a couple of buddies. Here we go. And there's no audio. Okay, so that's fine. They're chit-chatting. All right, so this is apparently new footage. Now, what's interesting, that's Jeffrey. Let's see. I think the reason why this is notable, from what I'm learning, again, all very recently, is that Trump, correct me if I'm wrong, is acting like he wasn't really good friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, and given who Jeffrey Epstein was and the atrocities that he committed, it's a notable that maybe Trump, and did I hear that Trump wished someone well?
Yeah, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell. Who's Ghislaine Maxwell? No, you don't have to answer that. Participated in the trafficking is what I read. And Trump's not owning up. It's not that means something. It's that the convergence of evidence means he should at least be transparent, and he's not. And he's acting like, I barely knew that guy. I bumped into him here and there. I invited him to my wedding. What the hell? Which I just went through a wedding, not for myself, as if, but for my brother. And I was very involved in the planning. I'm just that type of guy. And the guest list is very sacred. So you labor over each person who's invited. Maybe not they called it the wedding of the century. Why was Marla Maples marrying Trump the wedding of the century? I don't know. But this is some screen grabs of the wedding. And I think that I could be really good at a job where, like, you know how we can't figure out how to prevent crimes before they happen? Understandably, because you don't want to throw someone in prison for something they didn't yet do. That's weird. I will be reading comments. Just hold off. Obviously, I'm kind of on something right now. And so that photo of Epstein, it's weird how sick predators give sick predator smiles. Like, that's not... When I photobomb, I look much cuter than that. He looks so creepy. Yeah, if you could zoom in on that, that would be great. Yeah, show that. Look at this. This is a predator. You don't even have to know what he did to know he's a predator. Look at that. Look at his face. And I think if the FBI came to me and said, we need to figure out how to prevent crimes before they happen, I could do it just by people lining up and smiling. I could go prison, prison, prison. So let me show you like some examples. Let me just show you. You could just show this, Jaden. I could throw him in prison immediately. Tom Homan. All right, you could take that down. Oh no, am I only going to show Republicans? That would be weird. Why did I just search Rick Rock? I meant to search Rick Scott. I would be very. Oh, well, I have to put in smile, obviously. I could just boom throw this one in prison. Done. World safer for it. And then I'll just show you one more to prove my skills. And obviously, Epstein would have been in prison a long time ago if they would let me do this job. And boom, prison. Stephen Miller. It's pretty, and I would have a 100%, because you're thinking, Luke, isn't that a violation of people's civil rights? Not if I'm right every time. You know, like, if I'm right every single time, then it's not really, we know 2 or 3, greater than or equal to 2 people have died at the hands, not because of the policies, I don't even know how to calculate that, but at the hands of Stephen Miller. We know that. We know it. Now, this is satire. So, for legal purposes. But I know in my heart of hearts that there are 2 or more people who were at one point carbon-based breathing beings who are now in a shallow grave because of Stephen Miller. I know that in my heart of hearts. And I could have told you that about this smile right here. I know you could see it. There's something about someone's human smile that tells you a lot about a person. You know, George W. Bush said he looked into the soul of, who was it, Putin? Who? He looked into the man of the soul and he... Something. Our current president. But I think I could prevent a lot of crime if you could just have people smile. And those would be the first that I would lock up. So, I don't know. I guess this story is getting a lot of attention. Trump once hosted party for young women where Epstein was the only guest. That's not a party. That's so creepy. But apparently he barely knew the guy. Donald Trump once hosted a party with young women where the disgraced late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was the only other guest. The president is under pressure to release all the files. Yeah, so, I mean, I get that some people are saying why are people still talking about this? As long as Trump, I'm going to show you some clips, is begging people to stop, I'm going to keep talking about it. I've just come to terms with it. Even if it feels like I've given all the analysis I can give. Lynn, is it Javera or Gavera? I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, but thank you so much for clicking the join button and becoming a member. You are now a part of the most epic community on the planet. Yeah, I said it. And thank you all for watching live today. We have lots to get to. We will get to other topics, I promise, but starting with this one is what we're doing. Courtney Daffern said, "Happy Wednesday, my daughter Scarlett's first birthday." Oh, that's so sweet. That's so... I hope you're happy, Courtney. I'm sure that's a lot of work, but there's just something beautiful. There's something beautiful about Scarlett's one-year-old birthday. Those birthday parties, I know they're a big deal. Recently, one of our family friends was having my cousin was having a 1-year birthday party, and I didn't go because I felt like the kid's not going to remember it, so like, why do I need to be there? You know? And like, oh, blow out the candle. They can't yet. So like the mom's blowing out the candle, and it's like, why am I here? This kind of doesn't even feel like it's for me. Wait, it's not. But apparently I heard it's like a really important thing. And it's just a really special thing. I appreciate all that you're doing. Rev, thank you so much for clicking the join button. I appreciate you getting that bonus show. I'm going to show you a bonus show teaser in a second. Rev upgraded the membership immediately. Wow. Conor McGregor's broken leg said our presidency is a joke and it's so frustrating. I want to have that pride back. He should be the best of us. It's a shame that sentiment is lacking. Yeah. Juliana Joe said George W. Bush was George Bush's dad. What did I say? What? George Bush's dad. I'm old. George H.W. Bush, though, was, huh? Oh, I get what you're saying. In your world, that's what it is. George Bush. Georgie. Fooled me twice. Proper Pollywog said, love your content. You, your crew, and your brothers are badasses. Much love. Keep the pressure and focus coming. Trump is a pedo. Thank you so much. That's such a sweet message to send. Also, we don't have to compliment my brothers. Like, they're not here, you know? They're not here. I mean, they are badasses, and their asses are so much badder than mine. My ass feels very incompetent compared to their badasses. They're both serving the military. They're like all good and stuff. And I'm here yammering, but you know. And then Dana Elizabeth became a member as well. Wow. What a morning. Thank you. I was really bummed this morning because I was excited to be shot out of a cannon, and then my illness had other plans. But we're doing the best that we can. And so, yes, we're going to keep focusing on this. That's just, some people say, Papa, I'm just going to. Until Trump is utterly transparent, until Trump explains why he's been so weird about this, we're going to keep focusing. It's breaking him. It is breaking him. And I want to break him. Speaker Mike Johnson, guys, this is whack, is just shutting down Congress. He's just shutting down Congress because they can't move because some Republicans and some Democrats want the Epstein files to come out, and he wants to delay. So they're going on a 6-week vacay. Excuse me? The last time I had a 6-week vacay, I was literally in geometry. I literally still was getting assigned summer reading when I got my last 6-week vacay. And our members of Congress are doing it to avoid Epstein. House Speaker Mike Johnson said at a Tuesday press conference that he is shutting down House business early, going to summer early, accusing Democrats and others of playing political games with the Epstein files. Let's see here. Let's see what he has to say.
I say Thomas Massey is the one trying to bite Republicans, okay? I'm not quite certain what his strategy is.
But it's just not him. I mean, otherwise you guys wouldn't be calling off the week tomorrow. You'd be able to put your rules on the floor. I understand the issue with the Democrats.
Yeah, no, I just explained why. We're not going to play political games with this. We've all been very clear and transparent. The House Rules Resolution sets a good standard and requires all credible evidence to be released, and that's exactly where the White House is. There's no, as I've said many times over the last...
I would give the firstborn that I don't have. I would... That just sounds terrible in light of what we're talking about. But you know what I mean? That phrase, like, I'd give my firstborn to... get them to define what credible means in their book. Let me say it a different way. I'd give a bunch of money to them if they would explain to me honestly how they define credible Epstein information. Credible feels like non-Trump. Okay? That's what it feels like to me. Thank you so much to Christopher John Bookkeeping for becoming a member. I appreciate you so much. Courtney said, my son Anakin. That's so cute. That's so sweet. What'd you say your other kids, Scarlett and Anakin? My son Anakin's first birthday was Star Wars themed, naturally. Now 2.5, and Scarlett will be her very first birthday. I just hate the world. You know, because there's so much bad stuff, and I just wish all of life could just be that. Bonfire after if you want to take a trip to Pittsburgh. Have to celebrate whenever we can have these days. Totally. Despite all things, celebrate, enjoy life, love your loved ones, and just live. That's all we can do, really, you know. Anakin and Scarlett. Their very first birthday. You know? I remember a time when I was having I almost said Starbucks. Starbucks birthdays. No. Star Wars birthdays. And I didn't know who Mike Johnson was. I didn't know who Rick Scott was, who Stephen Miller was, who Tom Homan was. I didn't know who Epstein was. I didn't know who Trump was. And my biggest concern was, am I going to get the blue lightsaber or the red lightsaber? And it was my birthday, so I needed the blue lightsaber. And my brother Kyle, speaking to my brothers, was like, good, I want the red lightsaber because I am like the Sith Lord. Nerd. And life was so simple. It was so simple. One year I had a messy party. It was, and it was like all like silly string, and we filled up this is disgusting, but like a kid's pool with milk and cereal. So it was like you're jumping in a cereal bowl. And we did like a mud fight, and that was life. And now I sit here, I wake up, and instead of being sick and going, Mommy, I'm sick, and her making me cinnamon toasts, which was our sick agreement, whether I was sick or not, as long as I could tell a convincing lie, and watching Impractical Jokers on True TV. Now when I wake up and I'm sick, I say, oh, my business relies on me coming here and yapping my mouth. And I have to look at Mike Johnson. Instead of watching Impractical Jokers right now, I'm watching Mike Johnson talk about how he's shutting down the House of Representatives to not talk about the cover-up, supposed appearance of cover-up of a notorious sex trafficker. I miss childhood. I miss the Star Wars parties. Okay, Mike.
As I've said many times, there's no daylight between the White House and the House. You have to allow the legislation to ripen, and you also have to allow the administration...
What does the legislation to ripen mean? You sick freak. What does that mean? What does that even mean in his head? My throat hurts so bad. Oh, this is me now. This is what you get. This is what you get. Love it. Appreciate it. Adore it. What does let the legislation ripen mean? It's not a mother-loving fruit. It's not a banana. Gosh, I could really use a nice banana. I love bananas. It's like nature. It packages it for you. It's like Amazon in the Amazon before Amazon. Has anyone ever thought of that? I might be Dayquil delirious right now, but that sounds really profound. They were Amazon priming that shit before Jeff Bezos was born.
You're Willie Nelson high.
Hey. Let the legislation ripen. That's not okay.
Many times there's no daylight between the White House and the House. You have to allow the legislation to ripen, and you also have to allow the administration the space to do what it is doing. The president has said clearly, and he has now ordered his DOJ to do what it is we've all needed DOJ to do for years now, and that is to get everything released. So they're in the process.
No, they requested grand jury documents, which don't have anywhere to the extent of the full information about this. And do we know that that a bombshell's there? No, I guess we don't. We don't. I'm not going to act like we do. The Biden administration had it for years. I'm going to keep saying that. But what am I supposed to say? Huh? You got to let my commentary ripen for a second before you just get all on my business. Courtney already said that. Bent, Ed, thank you for the super chat. Nicole Harris said, so Epstein supposedly shorted our pensions. Now I'm wondering about Bitcoin, GameStop, and AMC shorts. I hope they follow the money. Yeah. I don't know what's... Yes. Christopher John Bookkeeping said, I was on the Queen Mary 2 and caught your show a few times. That said, the first 21 seconds of the Marco Rubio's face episode when you played the devil was so hot, the funnel of the ship blasted. Neither of those messages did my brain even process, but I really appreciate that, and I hope the audience understood, because probably it's just my deliriousness. All right, so he's letting the legislation ripen. We'll check it every day and see if it's... The fear, right, is if you let it ripen too much, then it starts doing that browning thing, right? What is that called? Rotting? There's a fine line between ripening and rotting. So you don't want it to rot. So, I mean, I don't know how, are they choosing to make this as strange as possible and as suspicious as possible? Because shutting down the House because of this controversy, taking your break early so that people will stop trying to bring this up for a vote, is a bad look. Ripe or not ripe. And then he was asked, have you communicated? I'm not going to play the clip again. I played it too many times, but this is very Jim Jordan. I talk to the president every day. What are we talking about? Talking to him yesterday, talked to him in the morning. Because Mike goes, I talk to him all the time in reference to a question of, did the administration request that you shut down the House?
Day on a typical day, often, always. And what I know about the president's heart on this is that he agrees with everything I've said here today. He wants maximum transparency, but he's also very insistent that we do not subject people who have already been victims of unspeakable crimes to further public scrutiny. And it would be a very dangerous thing to put those people's names out or to do a release of information in a way that is haphazard where they could be easily unmasked.
I thought they said there was no information. They keep going back and forth. We want to release stuff, but the redacting process is just taking up really long. Here's what happened. We were redacting, and then we ran it, and the printer goes, you're out of ink. And then you're like, oh, shoot. And then the what's it called? Office Depot doesn't have more ink, and so you order on Amazon, but there's a shortage. So we're getting the ink, then we'll redact it, then we can release. They're saying that on one hand, that it's a matter of protecting. Of course, you protect the victims' names. Of course, you don't put them through further public scrutiny. But that's something you could do quicker than 6 months. And then the other thing they say is there's nothing there, or the stuff that's there is fake from Obama. So they're kind of all over the place.
And so you have to be very careful about how you do that. I think we have a moral responsibility to do that. We have a moral responsibility to expose the evil of Epstein, and everybody was involved in that. Absolutely. And
you could have practiced that performance a couple more times. We have let me see here. More obligations. All right, Mike. Whatever. Jessica Tarlov said this was already the least productive Congress in history, and now it's shutting down entirely because Mike Johnson's terrified of Trump and what might be in the Epstein files. The GOP's contempt for the American people couldn't be more obvious. Well said. Well said. Now, Trump is literally out publicly, as Aaron Rupar puts it, coaching Republicans to say Obama cheated the election every time they're asked about Epstein.
And remember, don't let them forget, it's so important, Obama cheated on the election. Look, the camera just went off. Obama, the red light just went off. Can you believe these people, how bad they are? Obama cheated. When they give you all the nonsense, Obama cheated and his people cheated, but he was there. You ever hear this? They talk about, if they ever even mention it, they never mention his name. Just the opposite with me. But they only mention my name. They don't mention any of you guys. They don't mention Tom. They don't mention Steve. They don't mention our great speaker. They mention Trump all the time. I'd like to have them mention you. But remember this, Obama cheated on the election. And we have it cold, hard, blue, and it's getting even more so because...
Cold, hard, and blue.
The stuff that's coming in is not even believable. So... And you should mention that every time they give you a question that's not appropriate. Just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election. You'll watch the camera turn off instantly.
So, of course, he did not, and we've already addressed. Trump can't. The funny thing is, Trump can't even explain what he means. He just goes, he cheated, but he can't explain what he is trying to say. Tulsi is even more dishonest, or as dishonest, when she tries to make we've got intelligence that reveals it doesn't. And in today's segments after the morning show, we're going to be getting into that in more detail. But they're lying, as we've gone over a bunch now. And Trump can't even explain it. Tulsi tries to, and it comes up with something that sounds nice, but is wrong. Trump just goes, I don't know, something about cheating in Russia. And so he's coaching them that anytime you get a nonsense question, which he means Epstein questions, then bring up the Obama lies. He is accidentally admitting that's why he's bringing up these lies. It's so that they have something to bring up instead. We have a more active chat today than I think I've ever seen. Sir Inkung, oh no. Was this Robbie? I feel like this was Robbie. Because I remember I couldn't pronounce it and he said you could just call it Robbie. But Sir Incongupaman said, today's decent mood is brought to you by Pep. Blueberry lemonade. Thank you, Luke, for this amazing energy boost. My sass has been on point. Also, science has proven that Luke Beasley is the best. So yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, so my moderate mood is brought to you by, normally, imagine this. I'd be in the dumps if it weren't for Pep. So normally my mood is so good because of Pep. Now it's not so bad because of Pep. Because it's, magic in that way. Drinkpep.com. My brothers, who someone referenced. On the back, it's written, crafted by 3 brothers with a passion for health. Pep fuels your day with live probiotics, balanced electrolytes, and essential B vitamins. If you want to support me, this family venture, drinkpep.com. Order yourself straight to your doorstep some Pep. Thank you so much for bringing that up. David said, actually, humans artificially selected bananas we eat in the market to not have seeds. Look up bananas with seeds. David, why? Just, can we, okay? Thank you. Sunny Bear Rescue, thank you. Denise said, Luke, you need to go to bed. You just really look sick. It's okay to end early. It's like, I mean, I know I told y'all that, but it's funny it's like when you say, oh my gosh, you look so tired. Hey, what do you mean? Oh, you look like hell. Go to sleep. I'm nauseous looking at you. No, because yesterday we took off early for the same reason. And I don't know who I am without this show. So I kind of need it. Javier, thank you so much for becoming a member by clicking the join button. And Robbie, I'm going to remember that, I promise. No, I don't promise. I don't want to break a promise, but I'm going to try. Yes, Robbie, and I'm at work, so decent mood. Lol. Love it. Okay, let's keep going.
I have a friend who has a serious weight problem. Serious. He's brilliant, but extremely heavy. I'm being nice. And he takes Ozempic, or as they call it, the fat drug. And he's a brilliant guy. He's rich, tough, highly neurotic. He's a mess. He's a total mess. But he is brilliant and rich. And he was in London, and he calls me like president. He always used to call me Donnie. Now he calls me president. That's good. I like that better. He goes, President, what's going on? I just bought the Ozempic for $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. Same factory, same company that makes it, same everything. $88 to $1,300. He said almost $1,300. And I explained to him that that's the way it's been for many, many years, where people actually go to Europe in order to buy drugs. When they come back, they'll load it up. In fact, sometimes they get arrested for having so much they think they're drug addicts. They just buy months of supply because it's sometimes 1/10, 1/8, 1/5, 1/2. It's a tremendous difference. And this is for the people in this room, because this is something that nobody else can do. We're going to get the drug prices down, not 30 or 40%, which would be great, not 50 or 60. No, we're going to get them down 1,000%, 600%.
Am I stupid? Or does that make no mathematical sense? 100%. Wait. 100% would be the whole amount, right? 1 over 100, right? So 1,000. Paul said, wait. I remember this one from Mr. Solig's 8th grade math class. If you reduced the price of a product by 1,000%, you'd be paying people money to buy your product. Example, a 1,000% discount on a $1 product equals $9 to the buyer. Overall, not a great read. Is Ozempic going to start paying us to take their drug? What does he think he's saying? It's like when you would say 150% of the jobs that are being created in the country are going to undocumented immigrants. Huh? I don't even understand what that means. Does someone else have a different assessment of that? 1,000% decrease in the price? And also, it hasn't happened. And actually, the thing the Trump administration Republicans are allowing to do, which are these ACA subsidies, lapsing, is going to cause up to, and this is the real number, a 75% increase for ACA recipients in premiums. I hope I'm using the correct terminology there. And you're going to see an increase in healthcare costs, even though he's promising a 1,000% decrease. Someone said clean, DOL Design said clean, beautiful coal.
Clean, beautiful coal.
Judy's Blue Eyes became a member. Thank you so much. I appreciate it by clicking the join button. What are you laughing about? What is Cole laughing about? There's nothing to laugh about today. Are you laughing at my suffering? Unbelievable. Did you figure out the 1,000% thing?
Bing, bing, bong, bong, bing, bing, bing.
President Donald Trump announced a long-awaited trade agreement with Japan on Tuesday night. Eek! A framework between allies and major trading partners. I just signed the largest trade deal in history. I think it may be the largest deal in history with Japan. You just said it was, and then you said you think it is. Okay. They had their top people here, and we worked on it long and hard. And it's a great deal for everybody. The deal will see U.S. importers pay 15% reciprocal tariffs. What? Still we get tariffed on Japanese goods exported to the United States. But importantly for Japan, the 15% rate will also extend to automobiles and car parts, putting it at an advantage over other major vehicle exporters. So this sounds good for Japan-ish. Japan will also invest $550 billion in the United States, Trump said, adding that the U.S. will receive 90% of the profits. It goes on to say, we don't really know how this is going to work. I don't trust any of his we're getting this much invested anymore. No more. I won't even take it seriously until I see the actual data, because he's now up to supposedly $17 trillion in investments to the United States, which we've seen 2.6, 1.3 of which was secured during the Biden administration. This is a kind of concerning clip of Republican Senator John Kennedy, where he's telling one of those isms, those Kennedy-isms.
You're Willie Nelson high.
Like that. And he just freezes. And we don't know if it was a tech problem or a mental, problem.
I'm sure Jesus loves them, but everybody else thinks everybody else.
So I guess we had some more technical problems. That was the same mic as we lost with Senator Rand Paul.
It didn't seem technical. It didn't seem technical. And that is, we do wish him the best. Let's just see. It didn't seem technical.
Everybody else.
Yeah. It seemed, frightening. So we do wish him the absolute best. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now just upset at everything Trump is doing. It's fascinating. My ass. Yeah. It's fascinating. And here she's saying, when we come back from our 6-week recess, which always makes me think of monkey bars. Like, I keep thinking of swings and monkey when they say recess. It's dumb. Whatever. Like, all the members of Congress just go since 6 weeks at a playground. Shut up. But that's not what they're doing. It's like it's a different term for recess. In case you didn't know, there's an old-fashioned term. They call it recess. I used to think, wow, isn't that where the kids play on the monkey bars? But no, it just means like a break, like a vacation. Recess. What a word. And Marjorie is saying, when we get back, I'm not going to vote on a continuing resolution, which would just extend government funding. We need to create our new funding structure, which we keep not doing. And she's putting her foot down.
you would not vote for a CR in September. I thought I heard you say that.
Yes, I put it out on my social media. I'm not voting for September 30th CR. That is not what this majority should be about. Under Speaker Johnson's leadership, we have had to vote on CR after CR after CR. I've only voted on one because President Trump asked me to, and that was earlier this year. But we have had the entire year to get our appropriations done and actually do our budget, our government funding, and it is an absolute failure to ask us to vote on a September 30th CR, and I'm not doing it. And if anyone doubts that I will hold my vote, then they need to look at the fact that I was the only Republican that was a no vote on the rule last week, and I voted no on the Genius Act because it opened a backdoor to a central bank digital currency. It's up to Speaker Johnson to get our appropriations done, and that's what this conference meeting needs to be about, and the American people deserve that.
And you're backing Massey's discharge petition when it comes up?
I've co-sponsored it. I think I was the first or second co-sponsor, and yes, signed the discharge petition.
I was wondering if that affects your rules committee.
I've got to go to.
What happened to the rules
I've got to go to
thoughts on it?
conference.
I'm gonna respond to what she said there, but I just saw this headline. This is so funny. You know how we always call Brian Glynn what is he? I don't remember where is he Real America's Voice? I think he's Real America Voice. He's a reporter, and everyone just calls him, we just call him Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. Like, I can't just say his name because no one knows who that is. So it's just Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. And we've laughed in the office about how he gets reduced to that. And it's just Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend, like in titles and stuff. And now just normal outlets are reporting it that way. Trump teases Marjorie Taylor Greene's reporter boyfriend for pitching him on her bill. And it's just, that's his name. Like, he doesn't have, who's Brian Glynn? Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend. Oh, that guy who said, you need to wear a suit, Zelensky. Like, everyone knows him by that name. Okay, you know what I was thinking about when I was watching that clip of Marjorie? Think about how annoyed she must be. So she's terrible. Fine, got it. Agreed. But she was in her heyday. Maybe I can find this clip when I think a lot of these Republicans, this is my point. That's not what I wanted to do. This is so upsetting. I want to find this clip because I think y'all will giggle. But some of you will be like, I'm not going to wait that long. I'm just going to click off because he's taking too long to get to this. It's fine. It's fine, really, with me. But I think this might, no, that's not it. That's not it. Let's see. Loses control of herself. Wow, some of our titles are very predictable. Interesting. All right, if this isn't it, then I'm not going to keep looking, I promise. Let's see. Yes, it is. Yay. Okay, so now it's set up. Now let me do the bit. Marjorie Taylor Greene was in her heyday whenever she was a member of Congress under the Biden administration. I think a lot of these Republicans secretly wish that Biden were still president. They long for a time when they could just rant about everything he was doing. All of them were united about how they hated Joe Biden and Joe Biden this, Joe Biden that, cognitive. And now they have Trump in power and they actually have to do stuff, and they're really bad at doing stuff that's good. You can't really scream about the Democrats every 2 seconds because the Democrats are out of power. They're just kind of sitting there. And they miss it. They miss screaming about how Kamala's the borders are, or mispronouncing her name. Oh, what they would give to mispronounce her name again. And think about how let down or how disappointing it is for Marjorie to go from that zany, is that the right word? That spunky member of Congress who did the QAnon stuff and was insane, but she was always popular because she was just saying Trump would be great and Biden's terrible. But now Trump's actually in power and she's not loving a lot of what he's doing. And that's why I don't think we're getting as many quintessentially Marjorie moments anymore. Because she's sad. She's sad. Like, where's this? No, not that. You played the wrong clip. That's her doing a push-up head thump. Can you go ahead and play the correct clip, Jaden, please?
We need conservatives in Washington that will keep it that way. I'm running to stop gun control.
Not that clip, Jaden, please.
Sorry.
Okay, my goodness. Get yourself together, okay? There's kind of people here. Play the correct clip that we prepared. All right, hit play.
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
What she would give to go back to this era. You know, like the Taylor Swift eras, and it's like, which is your favorite era? This is Marjorie's favorite era of herself. All right, hit play.
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
What she would give to not having to be in power, really. You know, like she was in power before, but what was she really doing? Nothing. Now she actually is in the party that has the power, and Trump is not as good as she was expecting. And she probably goes to bed at night and thinks, "Gah, number one, I wish I weren't laying next to Brian Glenn. Number two, whew, I wish I could be saying this on social media again."
Joe Biden, you're not a president. You're a piece of shit.
Right. So, I mean, if you feel like she's just not the Marjorie we used to know, cut her some slack. Got her some slack. She was having more fun when she could just be mad about everything Biden was doing instead of actually having to wield power, which is much more difficult. Pink Punk became a member. Thank you so much by clicking the join button. Shadow Landman said he means raising drug prices outside the U.S. Okay. Christopher, yeah, I've heard him word it that way. What does that help us with? I guess then the companies won't have to charge us as much because their business model might rely on blah, 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 but I don't know. Christopher McCain said cold, hard, and blue. Trump discussing his balls that are in their hands again. On a side note,
balls in their hands. Balls in their hands.
Luke, it's great to have
balls in their hands.
Luke, it's great to have you back. Shit, you're awesome. Oh, that's nice.
Balls in their hands.
I wasn't gone. I mean, we did the morning show yesterday. Raz said, Luke, I love you 1,000%. Now that's possible. Thank you. I appreciate that. Janae Joy said, I hope you get some rest today. Just got my pep order. Maybe I'll try. Jeffrey said, don't yell at Jaden. We like Jaden.
I love Jaden.
Right. Okay. What else do we want to talk about? Probably consider Mike Lee notified everyone that Jerome Powell had resigned, and he linked to this letter that's a resignation from Jerome Powell. The only problem is it's fake. Jerome Powell did not resign. And Mike Lee fell for it. And Aaron Rupar said the only conclusion I can draw is that Mike Lee is actually an idiot. I have no respect for Mike Lee. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Now, after he posted that Nightmare on Wall Street after the assassination of two people in Minnesota, the lawmaker and her husband, and he was making fun of it. I use whatever word you want to describe Mike Lee, but you know, I don't understand when big news is posted on Twitter, like a resignation of the Fed chair, which he said multiple times he's not going to do until the end of his term. That would be globally economically consequential. How do you not Google, did Jerome Powell resign? Like, there's going to be reporting on it before you post out to your millions of followers that he has. Ridiculous. All right, let's move on to something. Well, let's talk about for a second here, DeSantis. And again, if you ever like become a member or you send in a super chat and you're thinking, did he see it? Is he going to get to it? Sometimes I just wait a while to get a big stack of them and then I go through them. So I will loop back best that I can. But DeSantis was taking issue with the idea that him and Trump are getting along better now than they used to. I'll emphasize why that's ridiculous here in a second.
brought to justice.
How are you and the president getting along? You guys went at it pretty hard in the primaries, just like he did with Ted Cruz, just like he did with Marco Rubio, and then obviously things are going great.
At all, to be honest with you, yeah, I think that's just you guys trying to do. I don't think that's true at all. I think we get along great. We're working very constructively. No state has done more to support their agenda on illegal immigration than we have. No state is working more constructively on environmental.
Now, these news cycles go by so quickly that you might forget this, but Ron Filkowski reminded us Trump suggested during the primary that DeSantis was having sex with underage girls when he was a teacher. Trump was posting on Truth Social photos of DeSantis with his students. Or plus, now I'm kind of forgetting, but it was like DeSantis with college girls while DeSantis was like a new teacher, so he was still pretty young and he was at a party with college girls, I guess. And what was being alluded to was DeSantis being a pervert. But apparently DeSantis is saying, no, we never had any problems at all. He called you DeSanctus, which I still don't even know what that means, but it sounds weird. And he said that you're a failure. He said everything mean about you. And now you're saying, no, that was never really a problem. Here's Mark Halperin saying that he's heard from sources that Hakeem Jeffries thinks that if Zohran Mamdani in New York wins the mayoral race, then that will hurt Democrats' chances of winning back the House. Let's play it, and then I'll give you my take.
Well, let me ask you this. Does Mamdani as mayor...
Can someone just pronounce his name correctly?
Mamdani.
Yeah, that was Levitt's version of it.
Well, let me ask you this. Does Mamdani as mayor help or hurt Speaker Mike Johnson in his ability to retain his majority in November of 2026?
According to people I've talked to, Hakeem Jeffries strongly believes that if Mamdani wins, he can't win the majority, that it's decisive. Now, I don't know if that's, I've not heard it firsthand from the leader, but people who've spoken to him say that's what he's saying. And clearly it puts him in a bit of a bind, because up until now, he's been pretty slavishly responsive to the base. But this is a bridge too far, it appears.
Yeah.
So I don't know how legitimate that reporting is. Quickly, just on the name, I don't get why people act so aggrieved and act like it's so difficult to pronounce names that aren't Jeff or Bob. Wait, you're saying it's Kamala? No, Kamala. You're saying it's Kamala? No, Kamala. Wait, what? It's so hard. Okay, chill. Or my mommy? My mommy? You're saying it's what did she call it?
Zamdani.
Zamdani? It's not that hard. So, Zamdaddy? What is it? Zohran Mamdani. You can get it. I promise you can get it. Even if it's not George, you can get it. I promise. It's not hard. Okay, but aside from that, if that reporting's true, do Democrats just hate ever making coalitions? I don't get it. Everyone's doing this. Will the New York mayoral Democratic nominee cause Democrats to lose nationally in the House races? Why would that be the case? Why would that be the case? People in California House districts, many of them hate Joe Manchin, but we had no problem getting Joe Manchin elected all the way on the right of the Democratic Party in West Virginia and AOC in New York on the left. You can do it. I promise. If it's true that Hakeem Jeffries is thinking Zohran Mamdani winning in New York is going to cause the Democrats to have a crisis, who's doing that? Who's like, a House district in Virginia? Who's going, I would vote for this Democrat because I'm fed up about the cuts to healthcare and the dismantling of the government and the bad foreign policy and the insane behavior of the president and Republicans' failure to do anything that benefits my life. But Zohran Mamdani did get elected in New York, so who's doing that? A party can have a left edge, and Zohran is more left wing than I am. So he's like the left, and you can have your more centrist people all in the same coalition that is against the bad Republican policies. Both a really centrist. Who's like a centrist? I don't know. Maybe Hakeem considers himself that. Like Hakeem and Zoran, even though Zoran's not even running for the House, so it has nothing to do with it. But they can both agree that they both oppose the healthcare cuts. They both oppose Trump's authoritarian. We have enough in common that we can be a part of the same damn coalition. So tired of this. Should we, since Zoran got elected, is the Democratic nominee, should we just give up? I don't know. Maybe. Are we communists now? It's ridiculous. Whereas Trump allowed in his campaign this insane range of people that were all over the map. And in their case, the only thing that mattered was loyalty to him. That's not what I'm calling for, but loyalty to certain principles. And we have enough principles in common across the span. So that messaging is destructive. Let's see on Zoran Mamdani, a Democrat. This is Adam Smith. Representative Adam Smith getting asked about him.
I want to ask you about your party back here at home. Some tough poll numbers this week. 19% of voters are giving Democrats in Congress approval, according to Quinnipiac. 72% disapprove. And there's this ongoing conversation about, okay, what is the party? Who's leading the party? You had New York City's mayoral, Democratic nominee, Zoran Mamdani, here in D.C. this week.
Listen to yourself. People are asking, who's leading the Democratic Party? You had the New York City mayoral Democratic nominee for the general election in D.C. Does any of that sound like, oh, now Mamdani's the leader of our party completely? They said that, who was it on Fox who went, they say that Trumpism is a cult of personality, but Democrats are really the cult of personality. I mean, look at Mamdani. And it's like, the National Party is a cult around the New York Democratic mayoral nominee? Doesn't sound right.
What is the party? Who's leading the party? You had New York City's mayoral, Democratic nominee, Zoran Mamdani, here in D.C. this week. Brett Stevens, writing over the New York Times, says this: Mamdani for mayor, if you want to help the Republicans, he says, it would be good for Republicans who want to make sure that Democrats remain the perfect opposition party, far left, incompetent, divided, distrusted, and on a national level, unelectable. He says Mamdani would be the political gift that keeps on giving for the Republicans. What do you make of his candidacy?
Yeah, well, look, the mayor of New York has never, ever been the leader of the Democratic Party. What we need to focus on is the message. I was listening to Senator McCormick. They just voted for a budget, the Republicans did, that added $3.5 trillion to the debt. They drove us further into deficit. This $9 billion rescissions package, it's just a joke that they talk about, oh, there were a couple LGBTQ programs, so we had to get rid of all foreign aid. We are cutting off food programs. We are cutting off health care programs in that rescissions package. Small amount of money. We are literally starving people to death based on programs we promised them.
But do you have worries about Mamdani and at least the optics that
I'm answering your question because you want. No, Mamdani isn't speaking for our party any more than I'm speaking for our party. It's a big tent. It's a big coalition. Yes, Fox News wants to focus on that.
Good job, Adam. Yep, that's it. That's it. Because you don't do like these weird denunciations. Mamdani ran a great campaign. You can disagree with policy provisions, but you know what he's running for? Not to be the leader of the Democratic Party. He's running to be the leader of New York. And New York chose, at least the Democratic base chose him, and we'll see if New York chooses him to be the mayor. It's just weird. I mean, yeah, it's Fox News trying to pigeonhole the Democratic Party into saying, do you need, the policy platform of Zoran Mamdani probably wouldn't work in Joe Manchin's campaign. Not that he's running again, but like that, everyone has to acknowledge, depending on where you're running, there's a difference in what type of campaign will resonate with voters. What should be taken note of, though, which is never a part of these conversations, it seems, is while there are things that he said in the past and that he ran on a national stage would not work, there is this pro-working class systemic change finally addressing the affordability problems that people have seen the system fail them on over and over again. Will he be successful at that? We don't know. But that campaign, there's a lot you should take away from it. Not copying it, but learn some things from why he had the success against Cuomo that he did. Another reason is, hey, maybe we don't run Andrew Cuomo either. It's another takeaway we could have. But is that going to be the same message as the National Democratic Party? Probably not, but there should be parts of it that you learn from. Silly. Life is so simple when you're reasonable, you know? Tina Page or Trixie became a member. Thank you. Blue 3 Froggy became a member by clicking the join button. R. Han said the pronunciation. Wait, they pronounce it like that to be disrespectful. Jeffries and Schumer need to go. Joel Miranda has been a member for 11 months and said asking for a Jaden cameo. Lol. Just your face. That's all they want. You don't want to say anything. Jaden. Say something. That's annoying. Sing for us. No, I'm kidding.
It's been a great stream so far. That's what I'll say.
Oh, no. Not about that. Let's see. What's the question I could ask Jaden? The good people want a Jaden cameo. How was your trip to New York with your girlfriend?
It was so lovely. We hit all the tourist attractions, Brooklyn Bridge, Times Square, Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty. But I'm happy to be back.
Beautiful. There we go. Does that satisfy Joel? Hopefully that's enough for Joel. All right. Here is News Nation reporting on a brawl that took place in an airplane. Which again, I said this before. I'll reference a bonus show clip, but we need to stop hating this. This is America. This is the beauty of America, is brawling on a Delta flight. I don't know if it's Delta, but we'll see.
That fight breaking out on an Air Asia flight from Malaysia to China. According to other passengers on the plane, about half.
Okay, so of course I make a point about America, and it's an Air Asia flight. Of course. So it's an Air Asia flight. So what's my point going to be now? That this is Asia? No. I could say this is America. Okay, now I'm noticing this is... Okay, yeah, well, then my point doesn't apply, but just watch. It's funny.
Halfway through Monday's 4-hour flight, a man seated behind a row of 3 young women asked him to quiet down. They became furious and refused. Tensions peaked when the man shouted for them to shut up, leading the girls and their mother to Trey. Marky, this is ridiculous. What are people doing now? Trey blows at them before the cabin crew could pull them apart. It's unclear if anyone was arrested. Marky, people just don't know how to behave anymore.
They don't know how to behave. I always wondered, too. I'm sure they're waking up this morning thinking, I don't know that all this was worth that. But kind of scary to see as well.
News shows are so silly. What are people doing now? I don't know, but I bet they're waking up thinking, darn, I wish that didn't happen. Back to you, Joel. It's like, yeah, all right. Wowza. Now to the weather on the threes. Yeah, so here's my point. Okay, we're going to go to a bonus show clip. I'm going to come back afterwards. And this was me covering this wasn't a physical brawl, but a verbal spat on a flight. And just to give you a sense of, because I know some people watch and think, wow, maybe you don't think this, but sometimes I feel like on our main content, we cover the same stories a lot. The beauty of the bonus shows, we're not restricted to needing to title things and for needing to be so appealing to a larger audience. And we could just talk about whatever. And so when you do click that join button, that's what you get. And this is a taste of sometimes a little wisdom that ekes out.
You can be a jerk. No, you're not going to insult someone because of an accent. We're not doing that. Don't put your finger at me. Okay?
This is a low IQ human being.
Yeah, it is.
You ain't going to change this.
I love when they say ain't and they talk about low IQ. I use ain't and I'm in a doctoral program. So well, that's a big deal. I'm a lawyer and I don't say ain't.
That's the perfect time for the glasses to fall down. That was iconic. So now we're debating IQ. This is America. When I think America, I think this, really. People arguing over IQ and accents as a baby's crying and someone say, what did he say? You're Karen. I've ever seen Karen, you're one. What did he say? But as as they're all just waiting to get onto the jet bridge. Aren't we? See, to me, wow, this is actually a really profound thought. So much of life. Oh, baby. All right. Okay. Get ready to write this one down. Stop it. I'll give you a second to get a pencil. Life. Life is waiting for the door to open to walk onto the jet bridge. And while you wait, you're being insulted. You're being shoved. You're being called a Karen. Your accent's being attacked. Your intelligence is being attacked. And babies are crying. And many people, like it seems maybe this woman here, are so focused on getting onto that jet bridge that they miss that life is the wait. Life is the baby crying. Life is eating the last pretzel in the 4 pretzel pack you got from the flight attendants. Life is drinking the last bit of that vodka shooter that you snuck in from the bar that you're not allowed to have on the plane, but you bring it anyways. And you look up in Google before the flight, and apparently you can get like a $50,000 fine for doing that. Life is putting your shoes back on after you had them off during the flight because it was more uncomfortable, and thinking, did my feet smell that whole flight? I didn't even realize it. Life is smelling the excrement coming out of the bathroom in the plane, and knowing that somehow, because you need to be there for your daughter's child's birth, you're willing to smell strangers' poop. But we're so focused. Listen to this. You think this is a joke? We're so focused on the moment where our foot will step onto the jet bridge that we miss the moment right before it. Which is really why we're here. Bickering. The moment she steps onto the jet bridge, she's going to miss the conversation she was having here. And maybe when she steps on the jet bridge, she'll realize there was no jet bridge, and it just goes black. And it's just silence and nothingness forever. And how sickening would it feel to have had your eyes so set on the jet bridge that you missed the beauty of the moments that you were living? Whew. Wow. No, it's all you. It's all you. It's all you. So that's that. I thought y'all should see a taste of what we do on the bonus show. Like I said, it's the join button. Lots of people. Is it Nanette Snowden? Has been a member for 13 months. Nanette. Wait. Nanette. It looks like they're giving me the pronunciation, but I still am failing. Feel better, Lukey. And thanks to y'all, CPC and Jay. Thank you. Joel Miranda gifted 5 memberships. That's so kind. Aw. That's so sweet. Wow, that kind of got me emotional, if I'm going to be honest. Because I was watching it, and even though it's me, I still was listening, and I was like, today I was thinking too much about the jet bridge. And so it really brought me, like, stop focusing on whatever and just enjoy the moment that we do have. Like Republicans calling for the arrest of Obama. They're all just leaning in. They're like, yeah, arrest Obama. Who cares? Just not even explaining what the crime would be. Just something about, I don't know, he did something with Hillary Clinton helping her in the election. Wrong. But you think Tommy can figure that out? You think he read the documents? Please. Tommy Tuberville? No. He can give you an XO chart of a Hail Mary pass, but he can't read documents. And so a nice post, a nice slant. I should have come up with a better. Hail Mary is like everyone knows Hail Mary. I could have thought of a better one. The Mississippi flea flicker. I don't know. But he's saying now Democrats need to feel the pain of being targeted.
It is going to be fun up here to watch all this start taking a narrative, a true narrative of what really happened, of the Democrats trying to change this country into a socialist communist country for the last 4 years. These people need to lawyer up, and they need to find out really what it's really like to be under the gun, putting their hand up, testifying in front of people all over this country, because it's going to be much watched as we look at all this narrative being brought forward.
Fifth grader speaking, maybe? Not to be mean, but like that just was not an effective delivery of a thought. Democrats need to be under the gun with their hand up. So we jumped from under the gun to now I guess talking about like doing an oath. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. But you just said under the gun. That's threatening, kind of. I know it's a phrase, but. And what is it that we need to be under the gun for? Turning the country into a communist country. Tommy, Joe Biden was our president for the last 4 years. Are you saying you can look at me in the eyes and make the argument that Joe Biden of quote unquote, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black, of quote unquote, what was the other one? I hadn't met a gay person before until I was strange. And I saw two kids. This was the story. I saw two gay guys. They were kissing. I said, "Mom, what's that?" They said, she said, "It's love, son." I said, "Wow. Is that what you call queers?" I think it was something like that. What's the story? You think that Joe Biden turned us communist? Come on, Tommy. Let's not be dramatic. Okay. Brenda said, "Oh no, I've been saying BBC, not CBC. Sorry, Cole." Big, beautiful Cole.
Clean, beautiful Cole.
Justin said, "Luke, will you share a noodle with me?" Like a pool noodle? Like we both float on the same pool noodle? No, you mean like a spaghetti noodle? No. Stop it, Justin. Okay, so that's that. Let's see. Rand Paul's urging Trump's DOJ to charge someone who was pardoned to see if Biden's pardons hold up. Just a lunatic. Why? Just charge someone. Let's just see how it goes. And then this character, Jason Smith, was on CNN, and he was asked, "Hey, will you subpoena people over the Epstein debacle? Force them to come in and testify?" And he was like, "Well, it's not really in my nature to subpoena much." And then she goes, "Wait, you subpoenaed Hunter Biden and people in the Hunter Biden case?" He goes, "Well, yeah, that was the one time we needed to do it." Hunter Biden's more important than Epstein? Okay.
Subpoena point, would you ever use subpoena power to try to find out more information about Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, you may use subpoena powers at any point. That is not a common thing that I have utilized within the Ways and Means Committee. But if I felt like that it was a priority for Americans, then of course. But like I said, this has not been something that's been a driving force. What people's cared about is the cost to put food on their table or the cost to put clothes on their backs. That's the focus they've had, or whether increase.
Speaking of clothes on your back, that suit does not fit well. Whoever hemmed it very poorly. Something seems off, like the way it's jutting out in these two spots. I'm not a suit expert, but it doesn't seem right. But that's okay. And I agree people care about food on the table, clothes on their backs. but y'all are the ones literally cutting food assistance. Like, I don't know. You know how Trump said, anytime you bring up Epstein, anytime they bring up Epstein, just bring up how Obama stole the election. We should be saying, anytime they bring up anything about any kitchen table issue, just go, you literally are taking the food off of people's kitchen tables. Literally. 3 times you say it. Does it do? Literally. Not figuratively, and do that one time. Not figuratively, literally, right? Like that. Really emphasize it. And, oh, yeah, people care about their kids' health, right? Yeah, you're taking away people's health care. Millions. If Democrats keep bickering about Mamdani and not pounding that drum over and over, you have the strongest political message ever because of how bad that bill was. Just pound it. If they can't, Democrats don't seem to be able to get out of their own way sometimes. Stop bickering over, should we be a Joe Manchin party or a Mamdani party? Shut up, Joe Manchin. You're an independent now, too. Get out of here. That's the funny thing. This is not my Democratic Party. Well, you're out of it anyway, so yeah. You literally left it. If you want to change it, stay in it, bitch. That was aggressive. What if Scarlett's watching? I'm sorry, don't swear like that, because when you grow up, Scarlett. So we need to stop arguing that. Let's argue that once we get power again. Right now, let's just every single topic is either Epstein, big ugly bill, Epstein, big ugly bill, Epstein, Medicare, Medicaid, Epstein. By the way, because of the pay-go rule, they haven't made an exemption in Trump's bill, so the deficit increases as of now, unless they pass, I should have been bringing this up more, an exemption, then the pay-go rule, which is pay as you go. So when there's deficit, you have to compensate for it with spending cuts, but often they just exempt themselves in the law or after the law. They haven't done that with this, so the deficit increases are going to be have to be gutted as of now from the budget, which means even Medicare, to the tune of billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars, is going to lose funding under this current rule. So Medicare and Medicaid and SNAP, they're attacking the third rail. I don't know if that fits with that metaphor, but you know the third rail of politics, you don't touch Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. They're attacking them. If you can't get out of your own way and stop, get ready the Mamdani soundbite, if you can't stop being confused over the presence of Zemdami in the Democratic Party and just focus on the dang destruction of the Republican Party with a clear message that we are going to fix it. And we're gonna be debating over exactly how we do that, but it's gonna mean affordability policies. It's gonna be trying to create more affordable housing. It's gonna be healthcare, bringing back the healthcare and more, expanding our healthcare social safety net. We're gonna be expanding our food assistance. Bobby is just talking about Steak and Shake changing their Coca-Cola recipe. We're actually gonna invest in policies through school meals and through community health centers that promote health, that address obesity, as opposed to attacking vaccines. On. Just keep going. But instead, Hakeem Jeffries is saying something about, reportedly, about how Mamdani's going to make it hard to win. No. Okay, let's see.
Wages, and that is what our focus has been on the Ways and Means Committee. That's why we passed the One Big Beautiful Bill, did no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax relief for seniors, and increased child tax credit, increased standard deduction. We did all this for the American people because that's what we're hearing about.
But you did use subpoena power with Hunter Biden.
Exactly. We have the authority to use it, but that is the only time that I have used it. Like I said.
Notorious human sex trafficker? Bunch of powerful friends? We don't feel like enough justice has been done? Hunter Biden. Which one will I use my subpoena power for? I heard Hunter Biden has a crazy genitalia. We could get those nude photos of him. If you just stumbled across this show, Republicans would post a lot of nude photos of Hunter Biden. Just so you know, that wasn't me. That was them. That was Marjorie Greene. Let me show you. Marjorie Greene, Hunter Let me see here. Let me make sure these are. Oh, I don't know. Oh, here we go. This one's more censored. That one was barely censored. It was like, let's put a little black dot right there, but you can see the rest of it. Yeah, look at this. Look at, she put this up in a hearing. Podcast listeners, imagine Marjorie Greene holding a poster, and on the poster is naughty things. I don't think that's blurred enough. You kind of just see the whole silhouette. And apparently that was necessary for some reason. I don't get it. Shelley Taylor said, can we not just get the band back together and take our country back? I'm ready. Exactly. I'm telling you, I'd just do it myself if I weren't, like, I can't even legally rent a car. What's that about, by the way? You turn 18 and they're like, you can now serve your country and vote on its leaders. And you're like, awesome. I guess I'm an adult now. Hand me that beer. And they're like, wait. You can't drink yet. You can go die for your country, but you can't drink yet. Oh, okay. You can start a family. Now you're of a legal age of consent, but you can't drink. Okay, well, I'll wait a few more years. And then you get 21, you're like, all right, now I'm an adult. Here we go. I can drink. I can serve my country. And then you go to freaking budget car rental at the airport, and you're like, hi, can I get a car? And they say, oh, sorry, you can't until you're 25. What's that about? I know it's because younger people are more likely to do terrible things to the car, but not me. Storm said the most inept, corrupt, self-serving administration in American history. Hard to disagree. Naomi became a member. I appreciate you so very much. Patrick Lucas sent a gifted membership. I'm 20 minutes over time. I'm just afraid that once I stop, it'll be hard to start again. But I'm going to do my best. Hopefully, members, you'll see me on the bonus show in whatever state. And I appreciate all of you so much. That is today's morning show. Tune in to our segments on the channel or by becoming a member and watching the main show, which is the combination of all of our videos in one stop shop. And I'll talk to you next time.